These are people who are scarring their children and doing it in the name of God.
He is probably a psychopath.
Heard when Jones ordered his followers to drink a mixture of cyanide, sedatives, and flavor aid.
What did Jim Jones take from you?
He took a piece of your life, and you never get it back.
So sad.
You don't get to redo it.
Trusted him, and they believed him, but he was a crazy son of a bitch, and he was willing to see them all die.
There's been so many people that have been hurt by this.
Just hope and pray that this never happens to anyone else ever again.
What if the thing you trusted to bring you closer to God was actually pushing you further away, and you didn't even realize it? Some people don't lose their faith. They're driven away by the very systems that claimed to represent it. It never starts where you think. It starts small. It starts in environments that look structured, disciplined, even safe. Teachings influenced by figures like Bill Gothard emphasize authority, obedience, clearly defined rules. In families associated with that system, like those seen in 19 Kids and Counting era, structure is presented as protection. Order, rules, clarity. But underneath it, something shifts. Obedience stops being guidance and starts becoming expectation. And questioning starts to feel like disobedience.
It's like the epitome of evil. I don't think there's anything worse.
It's patriarchal. It's authoritarian. Women don't have rights. Children break.
The IBLP teachings aren't Christianity. There's something entirely different.
There's been so many people that have been hurt by this so-called ministry.
I just hope and pray that this never happens to anyone else ever again.
That's pretty intense opening there on that as we dive deeper into the Gothard teachings as well as how it affected the family. That was basically in front of the entire United States. We have a front view.
IBLP is the abbreviation for the Institute in Basic Life Principles.
These are people who are scarring their children and doing it in the name of God.
The IBLP teachings aren't Christianity. There's something entirely different.
TLC created a PR show for Gothard's teachings.
Love you guys. Thank you.
Jim Bob Duggar is influenced by Gothard's teachings, including that of this quiverful idea of having as many children as possible.
We're all proud of these mothers, fathers who obeyed the Lord in bringing more sons and daughters into the world.
So much of the focus has been specifically on the Duggars and not on the Institute itself.
The Institute raises little.
These people in this church who are supposed to be keeping me safe are harboring.
We can all remember the Duggar family, 19 Kids and Counting, but it aired in 2008.
The family presented itself as the perfect all-American Christian family.
As far as education goes, the Duggars homeschool each and every one of their kids.
Okay, our law resource for today, we're going to be going through learning about bankruptcy laws. Okay?
Let's just pause for 1 second. Like that kid has any clue or needs to be talking about bankruptcy or anybody really sitting at that table. I'm not so sure why that's there and why they're all in the same book.
Bankruptcy doesn't mean you go to the bank and you're at a bank. Bankruptcy is when somebody is really having hard financial times and maybe they're not able to pay their bills.
Oh, didn't seem like she really knew what bankruptcy was either, but that's okay.
Booklets that you can freely access yourself online contain teachings on how to dress modestly.
We don't want to stir up desires, different
heck no.
things that cannot be righteously fulfilled.
Where the girls don't wear pants and are encouraged to keep their hair long for the Lord.
You know, whole curriculum and doctrine or whatever it is sure works really well considering that.
And when I read it, I'm like, wait a minute, you're telling me that other men and other fathers and other husbands read this stuff and then be like, will you please burn that book? Like, that is trash.
Yeah, there's so much set up for.
You're drawn to it. Like, this is great. They got this awesome program and I can program my family and we'll introduce it to our neighbors too.
Right.
I mean,
how creepy is that? That's straight from the horse's mouth, guys. On some occasions, we have other situations and the mindset moves into the adolescent category and it doesn't stay harmless. It starts shaping identity. This is where pressure intensifies. Trauma presents itself. teenagers, still forming who they are. These are environments where behavior and belief are tightly controlled. Programs connected to groups like Youth with a Mission and parts of the troubled teen industry have faced criticism for intense correction-based systems that mix discipline with spiritual authority. And in those spaces, it's no longer just about behavior. It becomes about identity. Who you're allowed to be and what you must be fixed to be. All shaped and formed around biblical, ideological, indoctrinating concept, in my opinion. Parents, they often have zero idea about what they're putting their kids in and what's going on.
Using drugs and harming himself. That's when his parents intervened.
There was this knock at the door. There was these two really big people. And the first guy, he grabbed my wrist and slammed my arms against the counter. And next thing I knew, there was like a knee up against the back of my knee, and my knees were on the ground, and it all happened so fast.
Theo was brought to Cross Creek in Laverkin, Utah, a tough love boarding school that cost thousands of dollars a month. It was part of a wide network of for-profit reform schools around the world that catered to desperate parents. Theo was just one of thousands of students who went through the program at Cross Creek.
What were the tactics that the staff used that you really remember?
Shame was a big one.
We had seminars, so every...
Just a heads up, I'm gonna have to highly redact this conversation, just to give you a heads up. Like, YouTube doesn't even allow me to even talk about it, show about it. I have to redact it completely, just to give you a context of how messed up this is, and this is done to children. Surrounded by biblical concepts.
We had a seminar we had to go through, which was 3 days of intense, grueling
mind
therapy.
So what is a split like for you?
Christian therapeutic.
We're jumping around from like organization to organization just to kind of give a full picture story-wise, quick as I can with different experiences, but telling the same story, if that makes any sense.
Residential boarding facility. Now that's a long term for a place where kids that have just been in trouble can come and get their lives straightened out.
I have been here for about 4 months. I've been here for a year. A month.
They're like a score. He doesn't look too happy about it, and he folded those pants pretty decently, don't you think?
This is gonna kill me right here. That one.
Can you explain the points and level system?
Point sheets are filled out by supervising staff, and it determines the student's rank. Score the point sheet on a 0, which is rebellion, to 5, which is excellent scale.
0 level restrictions.
0 level student, they have to be told or they have to ask what we want them to do for everything. A way to kind of show them the amount of pain they're putting on everybody else is to put a little bit of that type of pain on them. They have to get a time in to use the bathroom. They have a certain length of time that they can go. They don't have many special privileges. They do not get any free time whatsoever, so they must be working the entire time. Generally, to get on 3rd or 4th level, you have given in to the ministry and the expectations that we
submit by fear.
Embarrassing thing in the world, because like you go in there, if I touch the door, they were just like 2 push-ups now. They were like, well, you're in big trouble, you know. And I was so scared. My nervous reaction is to go like this a lot. Like I fiddle with my fingers. And Craig, my group leader, was like slapping my hands. She's like, get your hands away. Like, get your hands away. Look at him straight. Tell me what happened. Stop that. 2 more push-ups. 2 more push-ups. Get your hands away.
Trigger warning. We've hit the point where, like I said earlier, the highly redacted part of this. I'm going to have to basically do this very carefully, but you'll get the gist.
Enactments on the girls that had been used before the program, and they would have a male staff come in and reenact the on the victim. And
It's
while
crazy.
that was happening,
Are you freaking kidding
we
me?
were instructed to yell things at her like, but
Jeez, man.
the whole program is based off of a break you down to build you back up mentality. So literally,
That's totally
to destroy
WWJD
you so that
status,
they could
oh,
meld
yeah.
you into what they were
embarrassing.
needing you to be.
Every time they broke a rule, big or small, former students say they were punished, forced to be silent, or put in isolation, sometimes for months.
You're in a cement room with nothing. Technically, you were supposed to sit the entire time and be quiet. But of course, after a while, you start mentally breaking. So I would do things like sing. I would be restrained for that, or try to like move around in my cell, get restrained for that. They also made sure to come in every single day and tell me that my parents cared so little about me that they knew how bad I was, and they're choosing not to come pick me up.
That's terrible.
And that I had to live with knowing that I was forgotten, that nobody cared about me.
It effectively breaks you. You lose your sanity. You lose hope. That's the big one. You just...
Like, that is literal. Can't even use the T word. mentally and obviously physically, psychologically. And these are children. Like, are you kidding me? Like, coming from biblical standpoints, like, where in your crazy mind do you think that could ever be helpful to anyone, let alone a child? Like, these people have probably trauma they have to deal with all the time because of this situation. And God forbid they're going to trust anything coming from God or Jesus. I mean, are you joking me?
You lose hope. And once that's gone, there's nothing.
Cross Creek closed in 2012. This news spoke with more than a dozen former students whose stories echo what Sarah, Mary, and Theo describe, as do the accounts of numerous alumni who have posted their experiences online.
And when control goes deeper than behavior, it starts reaching identity itself. In more extreme cases, efforts have been made to change deeply personal aspects of identity through shame, fear, or spiritual pressure. Framed as help, experienced as something far heavier, and the pattern becomes clearer here. What begins as structure turns into pressure, and pressure, when sustained, turns into control.
Totally discredited practices that attempt to change the sexual orientation or gender identity of a person. They're often practiced by licensed mental health professionals, also sometimes unlicensed counselors, religious leaders, sometimes just in church basements. And they most often target kids under 18. And these people give them what they claim is a solution. What it actually does is it supports an industry that is profiting off of the harm and sometimes death of kids.
Like they got some sort of weird joy out of children. So I came out to my parents when I was 15. They kicked me out of the house. A couple weeks later, they told me I was gonna go stay with my grandparents for a few weeks. And instead they dropped me off at a conversion therapy camp where they signed over their parental rights and guardianship to this family who promised to make me straight. Conversion therapy is the idea that you can use physical pain and emotional pain to make somebody change their sexual orientation. For me, a lot of the therapy was wearing a backpack full of rocks to feel the physical burden of being gay. This family made me face a wall for sometimes up to 18 hours. When I kept fighting, they would add more rocks, and then more rocks and more rocks. Got up to be 40 pounds. And they didn't start taking rocks out until I decided to give up on fighting and start playing along. There were 2 boys there when I first got there that both identified as gay. They had to fight each other to be more manly, and if they weren't hitting each other hard enough, then the man who helped run the conversion therapy camp would step in and do the punching for them. So it was in their best interest to hit each other as hard as they could. Went to the same church as my grandparents every single Sunday, and they were told that for this conversion therapy to work, they couldn't look at me, they couldn't speak to me. That was really, really, really hard. It made me feel like God was punishing me. I felt like that I couldn't change being a lesbian, but that I could just conceal it. I had to put the backpack on and face the wall. I stood there for about 7 hours, and I just left. They didn't take anything. It's like 3 in the morning. I hid in some bushes until the buses started running, and then when I got to the high school, I immediately went to my English teacher, and we called the police. It gets better no matter what you're going through. There are people out there who want to help you. You just gotta find the right people. I like to think.
Despite what your beliefs may be about being gay or not being gay, when it comes to this particular situation, such as conversion therapy, 2015 study in the Journal of Counseling Psychology surveyed 1,612 people who underwent sexual orientation change efforts. They found that only 3.2% reported even slight changes in sexual orientation. More disturbingly, what are the documented harms of conversion therapy? Research consistently demonstrates that conversion therapy is associated with an extensive list of long-lasting social and emotional consequences. And once control becomes centralized, it doesn't just affect individuals, it can shape entire communities. Environments led like figures like Warren Jeffs from FLDS. Authority becomes absolute. Communities become isolated. Rules become enforced. And questioning leadership is treated as questioning God himself. At that point, belief is no longer personal. it's controlled. And once belief is controlled, reality itself begins to narrow. We're about to dip into some content. The extreme become victims to things that no longer make sense from outside society. Disclaimer, there is subject matter that is going to be disturbing about these next two leaders that have done some things that are beyond words.
Pregnant with your first child.
16.
With unconditional obedience to a leader that they believe to be a prophet.
According to their religion, the only one who could really communicate directly with God. So the orders that you were receiving were coming from God.
A cold-blooded leader who rules with true dictatorial power, controlling every aspect of the lives of those who believe in him.
Everything was just getting stricter and stricter and stricter and stricter. And
we're talking about Warren Jeffs.
For nearly a century, an isolated, secretive, and abusive community flourishes in the American Southwest.
Unlike anything I think we've seen before, since truly a real theocracy running right in the heart of America.
Its members suffer under strict religious rules.
You are trained only to do as you're told and not think outside the box.
A polygamous society where arranged marriages and...
Back to the original Bill Gothard, notice the hairstyles and the outfits and the control there. It all is similar, like, it's kind of weird.
The prophet's name is Warren Steed Jeffs, a man with a depraved and evil mind.
He is probably a psychopath. Certainly he has no sympathy or empathy in any meaningful way for all the victims that he has terrorized and done harm to.
Interesting thing about this town that Sam taught me is that, you know, if you get in trouble here, you can't call the police because they're all FLDS.
Isolation.
You just gotta get out.
Control.
I remember one girl that I met who said, "I will meet you in a parking lot. I've got some stuff for you." She didn't get out of the car. She rolled the window down and she handed me
surveillance.
Keeping sweet is an exertion to remain clean and pure. And if you're not keeping sweet, then you're not pure.
And I still get chills hearing that guy's voice. It is the most airy. You couldn't cast a voice like that.
You get this lesson today, young people. We have to teach you how to think and how to live in a pure way. You purify your heart by first cleaning up your mind.
And Warren talked about children must obey. He talked about women always must obey their husbands.
Knowing you're pleasing your husband, your head, brings you a heaven.
My name is Rachel Jeffs, and my father is Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs is the FLDS leader and prophet. He is considered next to God in our religion.
Crazy.
My father has around 80 wives, and he has 53 kids.
This is going to be Warren Jeffs. We're talking to some of his wives here.
My first question is, who is the original wife?
They have to look at each other.
We don't like to say original.
Oh.
I'm first prophet choice.
Okay. How old were you when you got married?
I was a day before my 14th birthday.
Is that considered old?
No, I'd say just right.
Mm-hmm. And how do you handle...
The baby doesn't even look real.
How do you handle jealousy in the bedroom?
It's like going to bed with God.
Listen to all those kids.
How many wives are there? And tell me about your child.
Which one? This is the 21st prophet present.
You're showing a lot of emotion there on the side. The left useless vagina.
I'm just overwhelmed.
Okay.
I can feel the spirit in the room.
Is it alive?
I'd like to announce the rest of FBI top 10 most wanted fugitive, Warren Steed Jeffs.
It was just a routine traffic stop by a Nevada Highway Patrol.
He was arrested near Las Vegas late Monday. He'd been on the run for 2 years.
He was riding around in a big fancy Escalade with all kinds of money and communication devices and wigs. One of his cute little wives and his brother were basically running around the world seeing Disneyland.
It was more shocking to me that he was arrested, Isaac and Naomi, in the Gentile clothing. And I think that anybody that was watching that circumstance saw the hypocrisy of it. I did.
I think he would have ran as long as he could have and as far as he could have. But I do think he
knew he was going to be caught.
He acts the way he did on Friday when Jeffs fired his lawyers. CBS News correspondent Elaine Quijano.
Threatened, I will send a scourge upon the counties of prosecutorial zeal to make humbled by sickness and death.
Like, did he really think that threat was going to work?
The head of the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was convicted in 2007.
Warren Jeffs was captured outside of Las Vegas after he was placed on the FBI's most wanted list. By all accounts, Warren continues to run the FLDS church from his Texas prison cell and dictates what happens in the polygamous communities of Colorado City and Hilldale.
Found some winding stairs. As you go up to the 4th floor, everything from the carpet to the drapes to the walls was just bright white. I mean, it was just almost glowing white. Working our way towards the back, there was an area that was an arched entry and it had real pretty curtains over it. As you go through there, there is another inner room, and we discovered a bed in there. It was a tall bed. It was actually like an altar where you'd carry a person and put them onto that bed, and it was about waist or above high, and it was very white.
Just seeing that room, I realized that something wasn't right with it.
Texas jury has sentenced polygamous leader Warren Jeffs to life in prison plus 20 years. The jury heeded the prosecutor's call to give Jeffs the maximum sentence for seeing an underage follower he took as his bride. He was also sentenced for the 15-year-old. Jeffs led a radical offshoot of the Mormon Church. His 10,000 followers see him as God's spokesman on earth. Jeffs was captured in 2006 after spending years evading arrest. During the trial, prosecutors used DNA evidence to show Jeffs fathered a child with the 15-year-old. They also played an audio recording of what they said was him to the 12-year-old.
When morality is controlled at that level, there is almost nothing left to resist it. And that's where you eventually see what can happen at the extreme end of the situation. When leaders like Jim Jones, faith stopped being guidance and became total dependency. Truth became whatever leadership said it was. Loyalty became everything. And over time, people weren't just following belief, they were trapped inside of it.
The very God of heaven in all of its might and fullness, with all the power that you said God had, I have come to make one final.
He moved his followers out to California. It was there that he preached a message of racial harmony and communal living in San Francisco. Jim Jones claimed to be Jesus Christ reincarnated.
I mean, again, that's another parallel. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, you know, you have Warren Jeffs saying that he's the prophet and then God, right? And then you have this guy saying he is Jesus Christ incarnate. It's the petri dish for disaster, and these masterminds know exactly what the heck it is they're doing. And it's just crazy how easily they can actually shift and warp entire communities into buying into their narcissism and craziness.
He said he could heal the sick, make the blind see, and the lame walk again.
Jones had established a reputation as a faith healer, as someone who could remove cancers from people's bodies. And much of this was, of course, fakery, but it did bring people through the door.
Jim Jones was controversial. Because of scrutiny from the press and the government, he moved the People's Temple to Guyana in South America.
Another situation where we have now created an isolation situation here.
Miles back into the bush, we will be in Jonestown. This is the road leading us to there.
But as a community that was being built that had the opportunity to become something that actually might be equivalent to a utopia filled with good people.
It was something that was absolutely amazing.
But when Dad got there, it was a very different environment. For Dad, the temple didn't exist beyond him. The world didn't exist beyond him. It's the ultimate addiction, I think, adulation. One of the first things Dad did when he got to Jonestown was to take people's passports away from them. If you wanted to go back stateside, you had to ask his permission.
Do you want to go home? Then be seated and shut your mouth and don't be in my face anymore.
Jeez.
Jim Jones worked diligently to break apart the family unit. Everything you did was
That's common as well.
They're on my sight. I was trying to keep some humanity around here. Shut your ass down.
Dad became cruel, and we became numb to it.
He had us trapped. We had no way out of Jonestown.
Jones came along and offered them something. They trusted him and they believed him, but he was a crazy son of a bitch. and he was willing to see them all die.
Jones was obsessed with revolutionary suicide. He felt followers should be prepared to die for their cause, even having them drink fruit punch he claimed was poison.
Only after most of the people drank the liquid did he tell them, it's not poison, I was just testing you.
In November 1978, a concerned congressman, Leo Ryan, flew to Guyana to investigate, accompanied by NBC News. While some followers praised Jonestown, others wanted out.
What is your wish today? To go back home. And where's home? U.S.
As the congressman left, he took 15 defectors with him, angering Jones.
People play games, friend. They lie. What can I do about lies? Are you people going to leave us? I just beg you, please leave us.
He ordered gunmen to follow the group to the nearby airstrip, where they opened fire. 5 were killed, including Congressman Ryan. Steve Sung and field producer Robert Flick escaped, as did Ryan aide and future Congresswoman Jackie Spear. Back at the commune, Jones gathered his followers for a final sermon.
We've had as much of this world as you're going to get. Let's just be done with it. Let's be done with the agony of it.
This time, Jones served a punch spiked with cyanide. More than 900 died, 300 of them children. Jones himself.
We know from autopsies conducted later that a considerable number of people were held and forcibly injected with the poison.
In the end, how many relatives did you lose?
I lost 11 relatives.
Wagner Wilson and her 3-year-old lived because they were part of a small group that escaped during the confusion that morning, hiking through more than 30 miles of dense jungle. Jones served a punch spiked with cyanide. More than 900 died, 300 of them children. Jones himself.
Jim Jones calls everyone to the pavilion and says, "This is it. If one of us goes down, we're all going to go down." So suddenly this is the moment that they have been training for. The moment of revolutionary suicide.
This is a revolutionary. This is not a self-destructive. So they'll pay for this. They brought this upon us.
If we can't live in peace, then let's die in peace.
I can imagine many of them were hoping that it was just another drill. So when their children then, who were given the cyanide first, started going into convulsions and frothing at the mouth because it's a horrible death, they realized that this was the real thing.
Don't be this way. Stop this hysterics. This is not the way for people who are socialists, communists to die. No way for us to die. We must die with some dignity.
So you can hear them crying, you can hear them shouting no. You can hear them dying.
Jones ordered a mass. 914 people were drank Kool-Aid laced with poison.
He was telling them not to tell the children that they were dying, not to tell them it was painful, and that people had to die with dignity.
Now, this man survived the mass, but his mother and his 11-year-old brother both died.
What did Jim Jones take from you?
He took a piece of your life, and you never get it back.
So sad.
You don't get to redo it.
Pattern becomes impossible to ignore, right? It's always starting the same way. Structure, then pressure, then control, different groups, different intensities, same progression, okay? And the truth is, this doesn't come from one place, it comes from people. Flawed, influential, capable of distorting what they touch. In Jeremiah 17:9, heart is deceitful above all things. The problem starts within people. In 2 Corinthians 11:14, Satan himself masquerades as an angel of light. Not everything that looks right is, guys. And here's what makes this so serious. People experience control, fear, or harm in the name of faith. Many don't just leave the situation. Many leave belief entirely, understandably, because what they were shown looked like God. It called itself God. And when you look at Jesus himself, the contrast is so clear. And that's what makes this so serious, because the message people actually need gets buried underneath everything else. And this is like very egregious, horrific circumstances. Sometimes it's not so egregious, but this is mankind warping, distorting, and burying the simplicity of the message. Giving it circumstances, giving it conditions, or completely turning it into something perverted. It's very important to understand that not everything done in the name of Jesus leads people to him. And sometimes, unfortunately, it's the very thing that drives them away, causing more disruption, more deception, and more confusion to that simplicity of that vital message that we need so desperately. There are many souls, many people, many circumstances where people have been traumatized and treated terribly, and then Jesus' name presented in it. And it terrifies me and breaks my heart because they are completely exploited and manipulated by something that Jesus never or wants anything to do with.